ladies, right? You're going to make mistakes in your life, and so you've got to choose which mistakes you make. Everyone makes mistakes, there's no question of it, but the mistakes you end up making are a consequence of the decisions that you made leading up to the point of the critical decision where you make the mistake or don't. And what you want to do is avoid the effect that Miss Kate Rose here has found herself in. This was a viral article that she had written, and was from 2015, but when you're coming to these sort of timeless relationship questions, doesn't matter, they don't have to be contemporary. This had 1.5 million views, and John found it and sent it over to me, so I thought, yeah, this is well worth talking about. And I like the way she's framing it, because she's framing it as if she's not responsible for the choices that she's making. Yes, you are. You're entirely responsible. Now, the main argument, I think, that would be fair from her perspective is if she would say, well, look, society didn't prepare me to have to make sensible decisions. I was told that I could be as hedonistic as I wanted, I could be as irresponsible as I wanted, and that somehow I would just land on my feet and find the man of my dreams, and I would be living happily ever after if I just settled down at 30 or something. That's not how it works. That's just not how it works. And that's why she's like, a thank you letter to the men who didn't have the balls to claim me. Are you a piece of property? Piece of lost property? And
it's very Islamic of you.
Yeah, very, very, very progressive. But this is, but as you can see, this whole thing is a cope, a massive cope, because, and I am genuinely sympathetic to these sorts of women who are now getting into their 30s, mid to late 30s, who are like, well, hang on a second, why aren't men interested in me anymore? It's like, well, because you were lied to. That's why. And we're going to continue hammering from the book of dadism on this until young women realize they are not just unlimited, free agents to do whatever they want and with no consequences. There will be consequences. Anyway, so
same for men.
Oh, absolutely. But no one ever tells men there are no consequences to your actions. No one ever says that to men. Ever. Have you ever had anyone say that to you?
Not that I can recall.
No, and you'll have got the exact opposite, wouldn't you, from your dad?
The hell are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. It's just a one-sided issue, because no one is ever telling men that they can be everything and have everything and everything will work out great. No, men get told to shut up and get to work. Rightfully so. Anyway, so I love the way that she begins this. Although I am a strong and independent woman, I have a secret cavern inside my heart that is open to be claimed but never owned. But no one does. And while I realise I still have so far to travel on this journey, I also feel immensely thankful for all those maybes and what-ifs. I'm thankful for all of those who are intimidated by my wild heart, because it taught me that I have two choices in life: either live within the boundaries of their comfort level, or say F it and be my own self, wild and all. Big cope energy here. Because live within the boundaries of their comfort level, as in be considerate to your partner.
Yeah, I was thinking, what the hell does that mean?
That's what that means. I could be considerate to the person I'm dating, or, F it, I'm going to be wild. Which, what does that mean? We know what that means. Anyway, so she's failed to form lasting relationships because she's cheated on various boyfriends, and now no one wants her. Obviously. You'll see as we go along. I'm appreciative for those who I made uncomfortable with my truth.
I hate that phrase.
Yep. That's because it means nothing. You did something that hurt people, you weren't considerate to them, and now you're calling it your truth. It was only through learning how much others didn't like the truth exposed, and to learn for myself how much I crave its very existence, as if truth were a drug, would be my favourite high. I mean, this just sounds like a massive cope to me, but anyway. I'm gratified each and every time I felt I wasn't getting what I needed from a man, because in fact I wasn't. It was only through looking at what I didn't have that made me realise what I do want. While I may travel along empty back roads by myself at times, I've also realised that it's okay to not accept less than what I deserve, regardless of whether it makes sense to others or not. So, okay, but how often did that happen, and do you think that that is consequence-free?
Also, what kind of standard is she using here? Nothing less than I deserve.
Well, a very high standard that she probably doesn't live up to herself. And but more importantly, you remember that you called this a thank you letter to the men who didn't have the balls to claim me. Like, you're on your own because you've acted in a way that was inappropriate. You didn't respect the people that you were with, and this led to you ruining every relationship you had until now no one wants you. Because of this my wild side that you decided to not, habituate yourself to controlling, which you should, obviously.
Does she expand what that means?
We'll see. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm thankful for the insecurities that your actions brought out in me, because if it hadn't, I wouldn't be the woman I am today. You're complaining about the woman that you are today. Anyway, in looking at what emotions that the behaviors of the others were triggering me, I had the ability to look at myself and make a choice on how I wanted to feel. Then why didn't you make that choice about how you wanted to feel when you were sat there looking around going, oh, there's all this stuff over there, there's these other men that I want, and blah, blah, blah. If you can choose how you want to feel, why don't you choose not to ruin your relationships by chasing after whatever you think is the better prospect, if you get to choose how you feel like that? It was only through this experience that I learned that no one can make me feel a certain way unless I give them permission to do so. Okay. Then why did you ruin all of your relationships leading up to this point? Why couldn't you have learnt that lesson before you ruined everything? And I like the way that she's basically stumbled into stoicism here, quoting Hamlet. There's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Anyway, even though at the time it is never easy, I'm simply so grateful that you never loved me enough. That's a big cope. That's a big cope. You don't actually want to be writing articles saying, I'm grateful you didn't love me enough.
And she's the one who left the man?
She's the one who ruined the relationships with the men.
Right.
She admits it was her insecurity that led her to essentially be promiscuous and cheat on her boyfriends, and this means that they didn't love her enough. It's someone else's fault, is what she's saying. Even though she could control her feelings, she didn't control her feelings while she was with them and went off and cheated. Weird. Again, massive cope, and what the fundamental core of all of this is that she's not taking responsibility for her own goddamn actions and her own goddamn feelings. Right, ladies, don't be like this. You are responsible for the way you feel and the way you act, and you are the only person responsible. Anyway, we never loved the same way twice, and while I know in your own way you did love me, it wasn't the kind that could keep me warm on a blustery winter's eve. So did you change your feelings? I don't know. Thank you for showing me that I don't want someone to be only half in love with me or to merely appreciate me, but to leave me breathless. Right, now this is a really interesting point, right? Because what she's trying to do is say, look, I deserve the magic of a full-throated romantic relationship. I deserve to be treated like someone's princess, like the object of someone's sole desire. So, okay, but you can't capture that kind of magic with like your 15th boyfriend. It doesn't work. That's not how things are. And I'm sorry to say it, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but what she's looking for, this kind of deep romantic relationship, you get these maybe once or twice in your entire life, if you're lucky. Some people don't get them at all, and so you have to make do, and you have to be aware of that in advance. So basically, if you feel that you are actually in this deep romantic relationship, you have this kind of love, don't ruin it. Don't just be like casting your eye around, see if there's anything better. There isn't anything better. And you end up like this woman going, well, look, I just, I'm glad that you taught me stuff, blah, blah, blah. Don't be like this. I'm so appreciative that for you having tried to make me the woman behind the man, because it was there in the shadows that I learned I meant to be a partner and nothing else. Well, do you want to be a wife or not? What are you aiming for? Anyway, I can create a lot more trouble in the world next to a man who appreciates the burn of originality. Okay. So you're looking for some kind of life partner rather than a husband. But this means that you didn't get what you want. And now you're writing bitter articles about it. But anyway, I looked at some of the comments on this, because obviously this is very entertaining. And I thought it was amusing that there were lots of women patrolling this woman. I love it when women patrol themselves, at each other even. Cindy says, why do you need to make all your exes wrong? Maybe they're not wrong. Maybe they had huge balls and still didn't want you. Maybe they're just not into you. Maybe you were the one who was all wrong for them. Try having them be right. If I were a guy, I would not come anywhere near the woman who wrote this article. It would look to me like a total losing proposition. Good luck to you. Based Cindy. And then there's another one from Clara. Hi, Kate. I really wanted to love this piece. I really did. As a woman who has deeply felt the full weight of grief in the aftermath of several broken long-term relationships, currently happily married in the late 30s, I understand your need to express your relationship experiences and learnings about yourself. Sadly, the public nature of this makes every sentence in the article scream the opposite to strong and independent woman. It screams self-absorbance, self-centeredness, and a lack of understanding or readiness for a mature, two-way, respectful relationship. Smoked. Absolutely just one-shotted there. This all alongside a disturbing disrespect for those men that you once chose to be close to. You take zero personal responsibility, apart from, by the way, I'm no angel, wink, Did you provide these men with their perfect needs as much as you say they did not fulfill yours? Surely a basic respect for the men should be equal to the amount of respect you expect for yourself and other women. Imagine a headline, a thank you to the women who didn't have the right tits to claim. I'm sure you wouldn't quite appreciate reading that. You have diminished those who have helped you on your journey to display your own magnificent, bright, wild light. I only hope that your new, courageous, better self starts thinking and writing more about the growth, feelings, and endless mysteries behind others' eyes, as much as you do writing about your own. Journey on, I wish you all the best. Brutal. Absolutely brutal assessments from her sisters there. And they provoked...
It's a very good point there about it being public, though. Like, there is something very weird about writing publicly in a website about your relationships and how you're so good for being signal and not having someone.
Well, it's an obvious cope, and what she's obviously doing is looking for other people who share an experience like that, who don't want to take responsibility for the decisions they made. And we'll get into the follow-up article she wrote about this, showing that actually, yes, it was her. She admits, I did this. I ruined these relationships. It was all me. But yeah, exactly, John. She's looking for validation from the public, and she's doing it because she wants to pretend that she did nothing wrong and doesn't have to change. That's why she's doing this. And ladies, you do have to change. You're not perfect. You need to improve. Same with men, obviously, but no one ever says that the men don't have to improve. Anyway, she followed this up with, to the men who didn't have the balls to claim me, I'm no angel either. No, you seem to be the person responsible for the problems. This article is written in response to the many comments left on my original article. I never said I was an angel. My hands are dirty with the mistakes of my past, and my knees scraped from the struggle to find what will make my heart soar in this life. Cheating. You mean cheating on people. That's what this was. Instead, I only have good intentions, like the rest of us, I suppose. I have lied to others and unfortunately to myself. I have made choices that I knew were wrong and I chose to make them anyway simply because I wanted to. Well, I thought you said you could control your feelings. I thought you said you'd learn to control your feelings. Why did you sit there making terrible choices that you knew were going to hurt people? And how is that you acting in good intentions? You're not acting in good intentions if you're making selfish decisions that you know will hurt people, especially if you're just following your base desires and rationalizing why it was okay after the fact. It's not acceptable. I have caused tidal waves in this life with the mistakes I have made. I've hurt others, sometimes accidentally, sometimes on purpose.
Why would you do that?
Good intentions. Again, the double thing, the lie that she's telling herself. I don't always bite my tongue and choose peace. I will often say the very things I know shouldn't be said just because I delight in saying what so many choose not to. Admittedly, I take delight in being difficult at times. So you cheated on people and destroyed your relationships. You refuse to exercise control over this kind of destructive nature, and you're not actually taking responsibility for that now. Okay. Most of the times I've caused hurt and made mistakes have come from fear, from either striking out against another first so I wouldn't take the first blow, or because I was protecting myself from the seductive lure of possibility by self-sabotage. So, I mean, I agree with Frank Herbert that fear is the mind killer, but what she's saying is she was involved in these long-term relationships, and then she started getting paranoid. She was like, oh my God, maybe this isn't like good enough for me, or I'm good enough for him, or whatever, and then she's cheated, is what she's saying. And, okay, well, then that will destroy your relationships and cause men to go, well, I don't have the balls to have you then. Bye.
Well, the cancer balls in their head that's making them not think, like...
Well, no, apparently all of these men were quite sensible and left. Yeah. I know that I will continue to make mistakes, and I know I undoubtedly hurt those I love, but I can try my best not to let that happen. Try my best here is a euphemism for make excuses the next time I show no self-control. That's what it is. You've got to control your fears, you have to control your passions if you want to maintain the sort of magical, even be able to form, frankly, the sort of magical relationship that you're looking for, and you know you're looking for that. Anyway, to speak the truth does not always mean it will be pleasant, but if we teach ourselves to address other people and situations in a way that is authentic for each of us, then we will set the expectations for others in our lives. Okay, so why didn't you do that? Why does it take all of this for you to get to essentially the point that every child should be able to articulate? This means being honest in our feelings, whether it's love, anger, fear, or pain. It means not making excuses when we don't feel like doing something, or making false promises when we don't want to let someone down. This type of truth is letting our lovers know that if we're feeling attracted to someone else, here we go, or if we are falling out of love with them, it's valuing honesty above all else. So there we go. She's failed to commit, like emotionally commit to one guy, and then another guy, and then another guy, and another guy, and she's constantly looking around for other guys. And he's attractive. Oh, maybe I can, find that magical love that I'm looking for with him. No, It's not how it works. Doesn't work that way. She wasn't discerning in her choice of partner, now has a high body count, and is making excuses for it. That's what this is. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm not going to sugarcoat this, right? You only get one chance at creating this kind of magical relationship that you're looking for. You can't jump from relationship to relationship and expect to find it. So either lower your expectations or improve your behavior. And do this from a young age. You can make a lot of mistakes that will ruin your ability to be able to achieve the end goal that you're looking for from literally the age of 18 onwards. And I'm sorry that the culture around you doesn't incentivize you to think in these terms, but it is your future and it is your life, and it is going to be taken away from you by your own actions. I really mean this. Anyway, she says, I never said I was an angel. I am merely a beautifully flawed woman doing the best with what I can. I am a... She's just the victim here.
So I'm laughing at the chat as well, saying that World War II had a lower body count. That's just mean.
I mean, I don't think she's had that kind of body count, but anyway. I am a woman who tries to extend love and kindness to those who need it most, and someone who believes that in the end, truth and love not only prevail, but they're the very qualities that make your life worth living. It seems like you're not doing your best and you're just fulfilling your animal desires, to be honest. With my broken wings and my dirty bare feet, I make the choice not to be an angel, but to be real instead. I don't claim that my heart and soul is divine perfection manifested, but I do guarantee it's unlike any other. But you're not. This is not a unique story. There's women who jump from relationship to relationship, cheating, and then going into the next one, blah, 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 until they realize that they're in the 30s and they've got literally like 20 guys that they've dated and had sex with and no one wants them. It's like, sorry, this is not unique. And I don't want to be cruel about it, but it's not that you didn't just not make the choice to be an angel. You weren't even trying to keep fidelity to these people. That's the thing. You were the one who were saying it as well. But anyway, this all seems like a big cope to me to prevent the inevitable crushing, soul-destroying realization that is cathood that she has got coming. Break out the wine, though. And the thing is, this is something I've talked about in a video before. I did a video on lotuseaters.com, our other channel, called Your Scars, because this is something that, ladies, I do think you should think about from a young age, because men can recover from a lot of the mistakes they make as a youth, which is not fair. I agree. It's not a fair thing. But you don't get away from the scars that you accrue, these sort of emotional scars that have caused her to write these pieces. She can't escape these scars. And it would have been better, I think, in her mind and for her, if she hadn't accrued them at all. And it's by her choices that this happened. And it's because the culture around us is lying to the women. It's just openly lying at this point. And so if you want a more comprehensive, direct, sort of scripted view of it that I actually had time to think of properly and articulate properly, then you can check that out. But yeah, be careful, ladies. That's all I'm saying. If you enjoyed this segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can watch the full broadcast live every weekday at 1 p.m. UK time on lotuseaters.com.